with a slow January out of the way, the gaming year really kicks off in February with a lot of big releases. And first of these is Soul Calibur 5, the loved and cherished fighting franchise from Namco Bandai. It's adding a couple of new twists to its formula with something called Quick Move, where you can sidestep very quickly, and a new critical edge maneuver that you fill out a meter in order to do a very powerful attack. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Soul Calibur 5 brings, and also if Ezio works out as a fighter.
The future is about to change. Sarah, the truth still survives, but only you remember it.
Next up, we've got another big franchise, Final Fantasy 13-2. The game that is said to correct the mistakes made in Final Fantasy 13, which was a good game, but with a very, very slow start. Hopefully this time around things will be better, and looking forward to seeing the continuation of the storyline that was started with Final Fantasy 13.
No, we can change the future. Years beyond death.
We are no longer slaves to the whims of fate. I will fight. And if I die knowing that I have made the choice.
Another big RPG that's hitting in February is Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. A new franchise that's been created at 38 Studios and big, huge games. From the likes of Ken Ralston, who designed Oblivion and Morrowind, and Todd McFarlane, and as well as R.A. Salvatore, who created the whole world of Amalur that the game is set in. The game has an interesting take on combat, and it's going to be very interesting to see if something can pull us off Skyrim.
This ends here! I want the darkness.
The Darkness was developed by Swedish developer Starbreeze Studios, who have another game coming out in February that we're going to talk about a little bit later on. But the next game in the Darkness series is being developed by Digital Extremes, and they're going for a similar type of game, but they've made some tweaks to the formula, and you'll be quad wheeling with 2 tentacles and 2 guns, and it seems like their approach is interesting with regards to how they handle light and darkness. A lot of the times games where you sneak around in the dark tend to be very, very black and not very exciting to look at, but they've taken a different approach, and let's see if it works out.
I'm stronger than you think. Jackie!
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds.
It's time to re-enter the octagon with UFC Undisputed 3 after the last game, which came out 1 year after UFC Undisputed 2009. The developers stepped back and thought they need a little bit longer cycle in order to innovate and make the game better and make it a must for fans to buy. This time around they're adding 2 new weight classes, bantamweight and featherweight, as well as a Pride mode where you can play and you can fight it out in the classic ring of the Japanese promotion with the stars of that era. They've also got a brand new submission and ground system that's going to make it more easy to understand why a submission fails or succeeds. So UFC Undisputed 3 comes out this February. The SSX franchise has a special place in a lot of gamers' hearts, and finally we're getting a proper reboot this generation with SSX, simply titled SSX. But it's a game that's we're very excited to get our hands on, and they've got 3 tags. You either survive it, you race it, or you trick it, and that's the basic modes that are in the game as well. They got an interesting approach to the online play where you, well, it's sort of similar to how the autolog works in Burnout, also in Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. It's going to be very interesting to see what they make of this. It's got tons and tons of mountains to race down, and well, it looks like classic SSX, but with a few new tweaks and additions.
Have you ever had a dream where you died?
You mean like where you're in danger?
No, where you actually die. You're being killed or something.
No, I usually do the killing in my dreams.
A game that's already out in Japan and North America that we've been waiting eagerly for in Europe is Catherine. A very strange and weird adventure that also is a puzzle game. I know a lot of my colleagues are very excited about it, and they've been playing it for a while, and finally it comes out in Europe this February. I teased a bit about a game from Starbreeze Studios, and that game, of course, is Syndicate. It feels like it's only a few months ago that the game was announced and it's coming out already, but that's actually true. The game has been in development for a very long time, and it's going to be interesting to see just how well the Syndicate universe translates into a first-person shooter. And personally, I'm very excited about the cooperative mode. That looks very interesting.
And that notice will demand a response.
And finally, the big news, of course, is that we're getting a hardware launch this February. PS Vita is coming out February 22nd, and there's a whole host of new games coming out with it. A few of these include Uncharted Golden Abyss, you know, a new Uncharted game, and it's the first time the franchise steps off of PlayStation 3, so it's going to be cool to see how well it fits the handheld. From what I've seen, what I've tried, it seems to work very well indeed. So that's one thing to look out for. I think another game that PlayStation fans are going to want to look out for is Wipeout 2048. Of course, the classic franchise that's been around since the original PlayStation. And this time they're actually stepping back in time a little bit, so you get to see sort of where the racing started to begin, but it's not it's not fully there yet. There's the tracks are a little bit different than what we're used to seeing in the franchise. So that's an interesting thing, and also, of course, the compatibility with PlayStation 3 that the game supports is going to be very interesting to try out. So Wipeout 2048, definitely one of the launch titles to look out for. And finally, I would also like to give a shout out to Touch My Katamari. I love the franchise, and this time around we will be able to stretch the Katamari in different ways with the touch screen, and it's just a crazy franchise, and who can not love the king? It's impossible. And that's it for the games to look for in February. We'll be back next month with more tips. As you know, this is going to be a busy month of gaming.